Okay, we will start again. Right, regarding this diagram is what we were looking at. We discussed that day that each of these 5 hindrances are pulling the mind to 5 mental states. Remember like this? This is pulling to lustful state. These are ordinary consciousness states, hostile state, contracted state, distracted state, and deluded state. So these 5 states will be totally absent. None of them will be present when hindrances are not present. That's where the mind will reach the higher states of the mind, which there were names given earlier. I will come back to that later. Before that, you can remember this analogy to remember these 5 hindrances. Right? Sorry, let me. This one. Now these inputs coming are like visitors. Visitors coming from the external world through our senses into the mind. When these visitors come from the senses, there are these 5 to receive them. So these 5 hindrances are like receptionists. 5 receptionists you will have on roster in a particular organization. Even your department might have a receptionist where some visitor can come and talk and get directed towards what he wants. Same way, one of these 5 will be on duty at a particular time in your mind when an external visitor comes in the form of color, sound, or one of these 5. And these 5 will receive and pull your mind into an ordinary consciousness or ordinary state. But what we have discussed now is that these 5 will be removed. I mean, you have to get rid of those 5 bad receptionists and employ 5 good ones on roster. Right? So that these 5 states will be avoided, and these good receptionists will be directing the mind towards inner happiness. Good receptionist will not be directing the mind to unhappiness and disorder. They will be directing the mind towards calmness and towards inner happiness and those absorption states. And of course, they will not entertain worldly inputs. They entertain only one visitor, that is the meditation thought. Other visitors, they will not accept, they will be sent back. Who are the other visitors? The color coming from the eye and the sounds coming from the ear, they will be rejected by these 5 receptionists. Another analogy for you to think of. Think of that analogy deeply, then you can understand better. I want to give some alternative names also. This is the same diagram as earlier, but look at these alternative names. The name I earlier gave is applied or initial thought, but sometimes this factor is called the cause examination factor. In Sanskrit, it's called vitakka. Vitakka is the word for that mental factor. Sustained thought is sometimes called precise investigation factor. Remember that word also, precise investigation, or vichara, known as vichara. In English, the factor delight is known as priti. Priti, inner happiness coming from the mind. Then the word English, word bliss or rapture is sukha in Sanskrit. or Pali, right? Sukha. Sukha is the mental factor that will make you feel that happiness in the body as well. It will go through, right through your body as well. You will feel it. Then single pointed attention is also given the name ekagrata. Ekagra means the mind is pointed on that particular mental image or mental object. Okay, so remember those alternative names. I just wanted to give them as well, because when you read certain books, you might come across these other words as well. Okay, now earlier our discussion was only about the first absorption state, but our mind is capable of going deeper, into second, third, fourth, likewise, up to 8 absorption states are there. We will not be discussing all 8 anyway, but just to keep you informed, because you will be able to experience them with practice. This is how the progression happens slowly. Suppose you get engaged in breathing meditation or loving kindness or whatever the meditation you chose. And when you engage your mind into that meditation thought and keep repeating, keep sustaining that thought in your mind, this is what happens. First, the delight and the bliss, which is born out of withdrawal from the 5 senses, those will arise and you will feel them, and they will be accompanied by an increase in the focused attention and the insight in your mind. This is what you will feel. Right? What you will feel. But it will not end there. If you continue the meditation in that fashion, the delight and bliss will go to another level. It is delight and bliss born out of composure or inner poise, not born out of withdrawal. This delight and bliss born out of withdrawal is known as vivekaja priti, vivekaja sukha. And delight and bliss born out of composure or inner poise, it's coming from totally within you. It is called samadhija priti, samadhija sukha. So vivekaja means the initial levels. Samadhija means which is born out of from within the mind. It's more strong. So bliss and delight will become stronger. That is what I'm trying to say. But they are born out of 2 different things. You can see one is born out of withdrawal from the 5 senses. Other one is born out of your inner composure or inner poise, totally from within the mind. If you continue engaging sustaining the mental thought, then the delight will fade away. Would you like that? Some people don't like that delight to go away, and they get attracted towards, their mind get linked to the delight, and they stay here. They can't go beyond. But if you are not clinging on to the delight, you can let the delight fade away, and the bliss becomes stronger, and equanimity, which is upeksha, is arising in the mind, and a refined mindfulness level will arise. A new level of mindfulness about the mind will arise, refined level. If you continue, and suppose you are not attached to the bliss also, you can let that also fade away. Now the delight and bliss both will be absent, so that pleasure and pain kind of perceptions are totally gone. Equanimity will prevail. It will take over the mind, and perfect mindfulness will appear. Finally, you can reach complete single-pointed mindful equanimity in the mind. So the mind will be devoid of any pain, devoid of any pleasure. It's total, the middle equanimity level, and complete mindfulness will be there, and mind will be single pointed to the meditation object or meditation thought. So these are the progression towards higher levels. This is what you can experience. But in order to describe what you can experience, you can give names to these different states. Right? Those names are the names we learned earlier as higher states of the mind. Let me give the names. It's important to know the names. Okay, first one we call meditative absorption state. In short, I will call it MAS because the writing needs a lot more space. So first meditative absorption state, also known as first dhyana, palamu dhyana. Then that progression I showed earlier leads to the second meditative absorption state, devani dhyana. Then third meditative absorption state, tungani dhyana. Then fourth meditative absorption state, hatarani dhyana. So those are the names given to different places of this process. Okay. Then each of these meditative states have certain mental factors dominating. Certain mental factors dominating, and it's worthwhile to know which mental factors, which receptionist, in other words, dominate the mind at that time. Now, when you reach the first MAs, I already explained that. We knew that the 5 receptionists are present. All 5 are present. Okay, first MAs, this is the sequence of getting the mind deeper and deeper into absorption state. So dhyana. In the first state, these 5 mental factors have taken over. So when all five of them are simultaneously present in the mind, all 5 are simultaneously present in the mind, we call it first meditative absorption state. Even using, when you are a seasoned or experienced meditator, even using one meditation, you can reach here. Like loving kindness can bring you up to this point. But loving kindness meditation can't take you beyond this third level. But you can reach first, second, and third absorption states by loving kindness, but not beyond. Breathing meditation can take you even to the fourth one, and even beyond. Right? Okay. Second meditative absorption state. Some of these will not be there, I explained earlier, which will be absent in the second one. These two will not be needed to keep the mind in the second MAS. So they will be suppressed because the mind is now already fully engaged with the meditation thought. You don't need to keep applying that initial thought again and again, and you don't need to take an effort to sustain. Sustaining will take place automatically. So effort can be reduced. Therefore, only these 3 will be present and dominant. In the second state, delight, the priti and bliss, the sukha, single pointedness, the ekagrata, those 3 will be present, and you don't need to take any effort for the meditation thought to initiate or sustain. lack of that effort is making the delight and the bliss more stronger, because you are more restful. Even the meditation itself is not needing any effort now. And I think you can guess the third state I already explained. Remember, we discussed that the delight will be gone. Delight will be gone. Only the bliss and single pointed attention will be dominant. So there is no preeti content in the mind, but sukha content, which has become dominant, will be strongly present. And this is the level up to which the loving kindness meditation can take you. Right? You can't go beyond this with loving kindness. But breathing meditation can take you even further into the first state where no bliss is there, only single pointed attention with equanimity, that upeksha level of the mind, middle level of the mind, and complete mindfulness is present in the fourth state. So this is a description I can give about the 4 higher levels of absorption. And there are further 6, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8, which are known as arupa. These are known as rupa level or form. And non-form levels are there, but we will not go into that much because of the time issue. Then you can notice the mental factors gradually reducing, isn't it? First mass have all the 5. Then second one has only 3. Third one has only 2. Fourth one has only single pointed attention, ekagata only. So even these good receptionists, we said, good factors, initially we use them to suppress the 5 hindrances. After the 5 hindrances are suppressed, we don't need them. So we remove them one by one until we get fully absorbed with single pointed attention in the 4th state. This 4th state is very valuable because the mind has the perfect balance there, and equanimity is dominating, and that is the best one for the wisdom to arise. Because when there is too much delight, too much bliss, the real wisdom about the world, worldly affairs, will not dawn in your mind, will not come up in your mind. Another analogy is that the mind is like gold. This is analogous to your mind. And right now what has happened? It is just taken out of the gold mine and therefore corrupted with a lot of impurities. You can see here, corrupted with a lot of impurities, and therefore it's not even shining. These impurities are hindrances. Mind is like the gold. Just a way to remember, right? Now, supposing you purify the gold, and remove all 5 hindrances, and this is like concentrated mind. Pure gold is like concentrated mind. What's the advantage? Advantage of pure gold is that you can mold it into any shape you want. Mold it into any shape, like the goldsmiths. I think you have seen the goldsmiths. And they take the gold and craft them into very tiny, skillful shapes. So that the mind, when mind leads, mind is achieving these absorption states or concentration states, especially the 4th one, the mind is like gold, which is ready for crafting. So mind can take any level of wisdom with that kind of purity achieved. This is an analogy. Right? Okay, now that you are meditating weekly, and most of you are doing it daily, I saw in your journals, and please consider these important points. One thing is that avoid falling prey to any mystical mental images or insights during meditation. What does that mean? Mystical mental images are like sometimes you start seeing various colors. Sometimes you start seeing images of various people, colors, and sometimes cloudy. All those are to be neglected because they are wrong or mystical mental images that will definitely prevent you from reaching higher mental states. So don't fall prey if your mind happen to show such mental images other than the mental object that you are really focusing. Suppose you are focusing on breathing, and other than breathing, if other mental objects are shown to you, what should you do? Just disregard, don't pay any attention. Don't pay any attention to them, just disregard them. So in a short while, they will fade away if you disregard. If you give attention to them, they will become stronger and hijack your thinking process. One word of caution is that. Second word of caution is let go of any expectations for reaching or achieving meditative absorption stages, which means that don't expect, don't have any clinging or high expectations of reaching absorption states, reaching dhyana, because that expectation itself can be a barrier for reaching such mental states. So just do the meditation, let the mind naturally flow, naturally reach such states, but don't expect anything. Don't have a very strong goals like what you do in your day-to-day lives. We have a lot of strong goals to achieve, targets to achieve, and these absorption states are not targets. If you target them, those targets will be far-reaching. They will move far, and you can't reach there. Third point to consider is that this reaching the meditative absorption states or dhyana has no special achievements. They are not real achievements. They are simply different mental stages of deepening concentration. If you try to consider them as high achievements, again, they will be difficult to reach. They will move far away from you. So don't consider them as you have achieved something huge. When you reach such state, that's a sure way to lose it. Right? Fourth point to consider is that these are not levels of meditation to be held on to. I mean, absorption states are not levels of meditation to be clinging to. Don't hold them onto. They are just fluid states. Let them rise and let them pass away. Because they are also fabricated by your intentions or volitions. Fabricated by your intentions or volitions. Therefore, they are also temporary. They also arise and pass away. So there is no necessity to hold on to them. Trying to hold on too much is another way to lose them. Okay, so these are little advices I can give when you reach these states. Now, what is concentration for? Why do we practice? What are the advantages? I'll just give a summary. If you want to remove the hindrances from your mind, removal of hindrance itself is an advantage because the mind will be restful. Otherwise, the mind is like very restless. Like if I give you an analogy, it's like you take 5 or 6 different kind of animals. Like let's say one animal is a crocodile, another one is a dog, another one is a fox, another one is a bird, and another one is a serpent, and another one is a monkey. Let's say if you take 6 of them like that and tie up their tails and let them loose. If all 6 tails are tied up, what will happen? A lot of unrest because the crocodile will pull towards the water, bird will pull towards the sky, serpent will pull towards the earth, dog will pull towards the village, and likewise, the pulling forces, because they are interested in different things, they will pull in different directions and a lot of unrest will be there. That's how our mind is from the point we get up until we go to sleep in a normal day-to-day life. Because these 6 animals are like our 6 senses, they pull in different directions, no cohesion, and therefore only tiredness will remain finally. And therefore removal of hindrances, these hindrances are the forces that drive them, is itself is an advantage because that restlessness, that unrest, that tiredness due to the senses will not be there. Inner peace and calmness is what you can achieve. And also concentration can lead you to better vision. The mind is bright, mind gets bright and spacious. Thank you for reminding the quiz. Maybe the time is up. Okay. Yes, 8:40. After this slide, we will stop. Better vision, and then refined mindfulness can be achieved. Deepened mindfulness, finally leading to wisdom. These are the advantages for which you should practice concentration. Right, I think we have discussed concentration sufficiently to motivate you to reach such states. Therefore, we will stop our discussion here. At 9:40, quiz will start. So maybe you are already logged on to Moodle. Okay, good luck with the quiz. Do it very well. And stay safe. We will end the lecture here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.